My name is Joy Kemunto Kinyaru, and this is my entrepreneurial story. Back in 2015 is when I realized that I need to do something that I'm passionate about. Academically, back in 2007, I completed my undergraduate degree in accounting and business administration. And then in 2014, I did my master's in international business. But at that point in 2015, after I've done all that, I still didn't feel satisfied with where I was. So because I'm a very artsy person, so I knew I needed something to express my art. So this is the story that now builds up into me being a baker. Even before I started baking, I had no clue about baking. My mom is a baker, so mimi ni wale watoto who used to wait for the bowl. After she's done, we lick the cake batter and wait for the baked goods. My sisters know how to bake, but at that point I had zero idea. So now rolling back into 2015 is when a friend of mine asked me, do you know how to bake? I was like, yeah, I know how to bake, and I had zero idea. So that day after work, at that time I was still employed. I went home. I did the entire process that I used to see my mom do, and then I put the cake in the oven. The cake rose properly, and then a few minutes later, I just saw it sink, and I was like, wait, that one is just a failed mission. So it disturbed me because I don't like leaving projects hanging. So I went back again, and I went, good thing the internet has so much resource. So I went online and found out, because the only thing that I knew would have caused the cake to rise and sink was probably baking powder that is not, that is stale. So I tested my baking powder and I found out that the baking powder was stale. So I went again another day and I baked. So I took the cake to my friend and they were like, oh, this is nice, but you need to improve on 1, 2, 3. So I went and I improved on 1, 2, 3, and then that was earlier in 2015. At that point, I'm already thinking of what can I do to express my art. So I thought baking, this is the thing that I'm already learning about it, and it's something that I can also express my art through design, through decoration and all that. So that's how the baking business was born. Within the whole of 2015, I used to bake for my colleagues. Someone just asks, can you do this cake? So I do cakes for them. And then now, towards the end of the year, is when I was very convinced that I will not continue with employment. I want to go start something that I can grow. So I did my resignation letter. My boss then thought I was joking. So at that point, banks were poaching. I used to work for Equity Bank. So smaller banks were poaching guys from the bigger banks. But so she thought that was where I was going. So she kept saying, if you're going to a smaller bank, please be very careful, because when you come back, we will not give you your position. So in my heart, I'm thinking, I am done with employment. I'm literally done. So I gave her my resignation letter, and then beginning of December is when I started now my life as an entrepreneur. So the first week, I literally just sat that entire week. I used to wake up in the morning, have breakfast, sit, watch TV. At that point is when I realized I have bills to pay and I have other expenses. Na sina mshahara at the end of the month. I got off my couch and now began doing marketing for the cakes that I'm baking. Thankfully enough, before I left, I already had organized for one of my friends to make for me a flyer, so that now all I just needed to go was just print and also the business logo. And I had already reserved the name at Huduma Center. So at that point, I already had my business name, I had my flyers, I had the logo. So it was now just to go. So then we used to stay in Nyayo Estate. So I used to bake in the morning and then go house by house, knock, give a flyer, but now the response was not as good. The response, actually there was no response. So what actually gave me response was now I baked, and now when I'm giving you a flyer, I give you a cake sample. So at least you're having an experience of the cakes that I'll be making. So at least that jump started the baking, and that was baking for me for the entire of 2016. I literally just used to do cakes for my neighbors, and it was actually really, really good. So now 2017 comes, and I've moved from Nyayo. I'm in Feather, and it's election year and business is silent. I left employment and went to business that literally picked very fast. But 2017, I could actually say I did less than 20 cakes in the during the whole year. And it was frustrating, but at no point did I think I need to go back to employment. Because if I wanted, even up to date, if I wanted, I'd still go and be employed, because the experience is there, the papers are there. But that's not where my heart is. There are friends of mine whom I know who excel in the office setting, and that's them. But me, I knew that I need to do something that I will literally create from start to finish and see and look at it and I'm like, this is nice, I made this. So 2017 was that year that was very silent, and then it was just a tough year, but thankfully to God, we never lacked anything. We never lacked rent, we never lacked food. It was just one of those years that you literally spend within your means, and thank God for family, because hapo walinishikilia for sure. And then now comes 2018, business is now beginning to peak. At that point now, we've moved to Utawala. Now, we've moved to Utawala. It's a whole new market, whole new everything. So the main challenge that was in Utawala is a bit further. You see, when you're in Feather, your proximity to town is close. But now when you're in Utawala, that's a whole travel. So you have a cake, you finished your cake boxes, cake boards, and cream, and now you're like, where? I have to rush to town. You're rushing to town in the morning. By the time you're coming back, na hiyo sola ya Utawala, the sun is so hot. But at times it rains, thankfully. So by the time you're coming back, you are so tired. You're like, should I sleep first and then I wake up and bake? But you remember the customer has deadlines. So at the time, we started working with my spouse. We started working and finding out whether there's a cake accessories shop in Utawala, and at the time there was none. We were like, we need to look, maybe there are many bakers in Utawala. So there are many forums on Facebook. We went and searched, and so there are surely many bakers. So we were like, let's put cash together. This is a good business to start that will benefit us and will definitely benefit someone else. I remember back in campus, they said, when you're starting a business, don't start a business because there's a need you want to fill in society. And that was the need that we wanted to fill in society. And thankfully enough, the business peaked in seconds. We put up the cake accessories shop in 2018, October. And then, so the first day we are sitting, we're like, hey, where are these bakers that we said are here? But the thing is, you have to go out and look for them. So my husband Eric sat at the shop, and he was the one who was serving walk-in clients. I told him, I'm going to bakeries. Because by that, before we settled on a location, we went around and saw there are very many bakeries, there are very many people who are doing cakes around. So I went to the bakers that have a physical shop, and I told them, hey, we have a cake accessories shop, this is our flyer, this is our contacts, we have a set of riders to deliver to you at a small cost. At that point, we hadn't even talked to any rider. So, but you're telling them, we have a set of riders who will deliver to you, blah, blah, blah. So they were very excited. So at that point, before, that was week one, before the end of the week, we already had almost 15 customers, and we're like, well, okay, we didn't expect it to be this fast. So after that, the business grew. People started saying, oh, nimeambiwa na fulani wa fulani mko na cake accessories shop, tumekuja. So you serve them, you're happy. So at that point is, no, actually in 2019 is when we started a culture of, for any new customer, we give you a disposable piping bag. It's something small, but the way the client just beams up, it just gives you a lot of joy. You're like, hey, oh, okay, it's just a free piping bag. It's literally worth 20 shillings. But I think that gives like a connection with them. And then in 2020, after now the customer base has actually now stabilized, is when we, there was now the, I think 2019 is when there was the Huduma number, if I remember correctly. The Huduma number also literally gave us a lot of customers, because people used to come, they sit there, of course they're looking around, so we got quite a number of customers thanks to the Huduma number setting and all that. And then now during 2020, COVID happened. When COVID happened, it was a hit to most businesses, but to us it was such a blessing. At times I even felt guilty saying that business has been good when people have literally been hit. But we just said, you know what, we'll say thanks to God, because it's a blessing to us. Because now at that point, many people started baking. For some reason, I think baked goods make people happy. So people started baking, many bakers budded from that, and now they are now doing juggling between employment and now baking. And that, the period of COVID literally expanded our business to almost twice to what it was. And it's been a great journey. So, and back to my, to my baking journey, at times it gets so busy that we are at the shop. I can't leave Eric at the shop alone because the customers are many. So I have to give out cake, the cake orders. So there are many bakers around us that have also been a blessing to me, because now I give them the cake order, they do for the client, and good enough, these are bakers that have tasted their cake. So at least I know that they will deliver. So I can say in the space of, we're in 2022, 2021, from around September, I can say I have done like almost 5 cakes. Not because I have not had orders, but because I have had to push them to someone else, because now this other side of the business is growing. And I believe when you have a network that helps you, we both grow, because at the end of the day, hawataenda kupata cake accessories kwingine. They will come to my shop, they will buy cake accessories. Like there's the last cake I gave in December, that was on December 24th. The client was supposed to go to Valentine Cake House, which is just a bit close to where our shop is. But now he was literally so drunk, but he came with his brother who's sober. So the brother is like, wewe unataka kwenda huko, si tumepata cake shop hapa. So he made his order, he paid full, and I'm like, okay. So I knew I will leave work before time is up, so that I can. That was 24th of December. We had told our clients we are closing by 6. From 3 to 7:30, we had so many clients. That was overwhelming myself and my husband. So I was like, by the way, I am not going to bake this cake, but this cake has to be delivered. One client comes when we are wrapping up, and then I ask her, are you so overwhelmed? One of the customers whom have turned to be very good friends, and who also bake very good cakes. So she was like, no, I can take one more. So I give her this cake. She does the cake for me, she delivers the following day. So at the end of the day, it's a win-win. And then for that cake and the other accessories that she wants, for other cakes that she was doing, ile pesa yenye tulimpatia ilirudi tu kwa duka. So it was just an interesting plus. So it's been an interesting journey, and there are very many things in the process that I have learned. One of them is discipline. When you're your own boss. No one will tell you, amuka uende kazi. You are the one who has to put the timelines, and you say you're going to work within that space. You have to be disciplined to wake up early, which most of the time is such a challenge, but we make sure if we are very, very, very late, 8:45, there's someone at the shop, but official opening time is 8:30. This year we started and we said at least we need to be getting to the shop a bit earlier. So it's been actually a blessing because at least we've been getting to the shop before 8:30. So I pray that we are consistent with that, because the whole idea was we see whether we can be getting to the shop earlier and close earlier, because our operating hours for the shop is between 8:30 to 7:30. But if you can do 8 to 7, it would still be a plus. But so far it's been a good thing. So discipline is one thing. You have to purpose to make sure that you're the one who's pushing your business to grow. It's not easy. It's not easy. At times you get customers who literally drive you up the wall, and you're like there's one client who, incidentally, later we came to realize we are related. But yani, she's a handful. But we keep telling each other at the shop, we have to learn how to deal with the good ones and the bad ones, and now wale wako hapo katikati, because at the end of the day we are all different. When someone comes to your shop, hujui ni nini ametoka ku experience huko, so treat them with kindness, because you don't know what they've experienced out there. So treating customers with kindness, even when they literally talk back to you badly, is also something that we've also learned within the period as we've grown. Another thing that I love that my husband just started about a year ago, and it works. We always make sure you have water at the shop. When someone comes and they look famished, you ask them, do you want a cup of water? And that literally lifts someone's spirit. They take water, there's a seat out there, you have a seat, and then they make their order when at least they are relaxed. Another thing is involving God. I love that we involve God in everything we do. Even when we started, even before we sought out to get the location for the shop, we prayed and we told God, please give us a favorable place where customers hawata sumbuka. And the place where we got has parking for the customers. It has it's a place, it's a bit hidden, but it's still it's a place where that is easily accessible to the clients. And thankfully, even the shop that is next to us, they sell power porridge. So that one also literally helps, because now when a customer comes and they are a bit hungry, they can get something to eat, hapo tu karibu, and something that is healthy. At once in a while when we see someone has not come in a long while, we buy them porridge. And that helps, because at the end of the day, itasaidia inampatia nguvu na I believe that's also a form of customer service. So back to involving God, the word of God says in Proverbs 3, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge him and he shall direct your path. And literally, God is so faithful. God is so faithful. Even when at times things look bleak, he's literally so faithful. I remember last year, August, September, and part of October, business was low. Business was so slow, paka you're wondering where. But at no point did we think that we should close up. Because at the end of every month, bills were paid, suppliers were paid, and things went on. But now, the other part of October, things started picking up towards the end of December. And to me, that is God. Because God lifts us up even when we feel like, yani, ni kubaya, hajai tuacha, and he'll never leave us. He says he'll never leave us nor forsake us, because he's our God. And imagine, he sacrificed his own son for us to have a direct access to him. I think that's beauty. Another lesson that I've learned is, I've said discipline, I've said depending on God, consistency. Consistency bears results. You just have to be consistent in what you're doing, and even as you go along, you see how things grow. Because if you're consistent in, even in pricing, if you're consistent in pricing, that's one thing that we learned the hard way as we went along. Because now at times there are things you get from suppliers in town because now you don't have enough cash to get from the main supplier. Now you literally just have to come and bring them and sell them at cost, because utaki kuuza hakuna, because a customer will come 1, 2, 3 times, atakuja, nyinyi amnanga, so wacha mimi niende. So there are things you literally have to buy at cost and sell at cost, because at the end of the day you want to retain that customer. And the other thing is passion. I always say passion drives perfection. When you're passionate about something, that is where your money is. That is where your heart is. That is what you should be doing. And because that passion is just not by flukes. Passion is something I believe that has been put in each and every one of us by God himself. So when I remember before I left work, there's a book I was reading from this author called Wale Akiyemi. So he said, write 5 things that you're passionate about, and then put out 3 things that you know can be converted to cash. So I did that, and once I did that, I was like, this is a go for me. So that is what actually, one of the things that literally pushed me to do what I'm doing today, because I'm passionate about art, and I do that through baking. I'm passionate about music, and thanks to Kenya Conservatoire, who give us platforms of orchestras to play in. We play with orchestras that are like an end of term concert. There's one called Prelude, there's another one called Symphony, and then there's also another concert orchestra that I recently joined called Nairobi Orchestra. So with those, I get to express my music and to learn how to perfect the skill of music through playing the violin. So passion, whatever one is passionate about is what one should follow through. Because at the end of the day, when the rubber hits the road, you will definitely find something to make that work. You will find something to make that thrive, because at the end of the day, that is what you're passionate about. That is what, when you sleep at night, you're wondering, how can I make this better? How can I improve on this? And the following day you go, you try, and things get better. So I believe when someone is passionate about something, that is what they should follow, and that is what they should look on how to use that to bring them cash. Because at the end of the day, we are all gifted differently. There's nothing new under the sun, but the difference is, how well do you do your thing? How well do you excel in yours? Not because you've seen, but how well, sit down and see how well can I excel this. And like I said, there's so much resource online that can help us also grow. So that, in a nutshell, I believe is my entrepreneurial story. We keep growing from here, and we are so grateful to God that we get to do what we enjoy every day. And you get not to wear suits. I used to be so bored when I was working, and every other day, Monday to Friday, you have to wear a suit. And then where I used to work, there was no for trouser suits. Right now, at least one of our trouser suits. It used to be skirt suits, and when it's cold, and you will suffer. So you get to wear however you want, of course, as long as it's decent. But at the end of the day, you get to work, you get to have fun, you get to learn, you get to grow. By the time you're getting home, you're happy tired. Happy tired is good, because you're like, that was such a fulfilling day. That was such a nice day, and you have grown. And you have grown, and we are the only people who can limit ourselves. They say the sky is the limit, but I believe first, before even you get to the sky, we are the only ones who limit ourselves, because you're only as good as you think you are. But at the end of the day, how good do you want to be? How good do you want to? How bad do you want to excel in what you are doing and what you're passionate about? As in literally, what drives you to be better? You can find us on Facebook at sweettooth delics, on Instagram at sweettooth delics. We are located in Utawala along Eastern Bypass. The building is Utabiz Hub. Just in front of Utabiz Hub, there's a big yellow banner, so just look out for that. You will definitely find us. We are right there. Our shop is located F1, F2. Those are the shop numbers, but F2 is closed, so F1 is what you see. So our shop contact is 0772 265 033 or 0739 909 938. You can chat us on WhatsApp on the earlier number, the 0772. That's where you get to place your order. In case you have no time to come to the shop, we have a set of riders who actually now we've worked with. Thankfully, the set of riders that we started back in 2018 are the ones that we're still using to date, and the number has grown to about 7 of them. So you chat us on WhatsApp, we do your order, we give you the till number, which is 545245. The name that comes is Sweet Tooth Delics, and then the rider will get you the goods, and that's it.